Paul. Okay, stop right there. That's verse 1, word 1. Paul. Okay, so here's Paul, and he says, let me start the masterclass by introducing the instructor. And he says, I'm Paul. Now, some of you, if you're new to church, you might be like, oh, the writer of the Bible, he must be a really saint guy. He must be a Christian his whole life, grew up in the choir, just a really good guy, nice guy. But the reality is you don't know the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was a disaster. He was a very religious guy, very smart. People say that he would have been famous even if he didn't write the Bible. He was so smart philosophically with a writing skill. He was versed in Hebrew and Gentile culture, in pagan culture, which is why God called him to be a Jewish apostle to the Gentiles, to take a Jewish message to the Gentile world that he saw in the person and the work of Jesus Christ. This was the fulfillment of Israel's story, but now I'm gonna go tell Gentiles about it. And so he was so smart, he did that. But the reality was he was a Shamite Pharisee who actually was so zealous, but zeal to a Shamite Pharisee was through a knife. And he was actually a terrorist. He oversaw the killing of the first Christian, Stephen, in Acts chapter 8. They laid their cloaks at the feet of a man named Saul, who's Paul. The reality is the Apostle Paul was a murderer. So some of you, if you're sitting here right now, here's what you gotta take from that first word. Some of you sitting here think, God could never use me because you don't know what I've done in the last year of my life. You don't know what I look at when nobody's looking. You don't know the disaster of what I think about. Listen, the Apostle Paul was a disaster. His life, he was a murderer, and yet God used him not because of him, but in spite of him. And you've got to be able to understand, no matter how bad you've been to this day, as you sit in that seat and listen to me, the reality is today's a new start, tomorrow's a new start to what God can do in your life. Believe that.